This image shows a musical score by the American composer George Crumb. The piece is titled A Hymn for the Astral Body of the Soul. It belongs to a broader category known as graphic notation, in which musical structure is represented through non-linear visual forms. In the mid-20th century, many composers began questioning the limitations of traditional 5-line staff notation. Standard notation precisely specifies pitch, rhythm, duration, and dynamics. It assumes that musical time progresses horizontally from left to right. However, post-war composers increasingly explored indeterminacy, extended techniques, and new sound textures. They began asking whether a rigid linear system could adequately represent fluid or unconventional sound structures. Graphic notation emerged partly from this concern. John Cage created scores that resemble abstract visual art. Morton Feldman sometimes notated approximate pitch ranges and proportional durations rather than fixed rhythms. Earl Brown's December 1952 presents abstract lines that performers interpret freely. In many of these cases, compositional authority shifts. The performer gains interpretive agency. Crumb differs in that his notation remains highly controlled, but visually he departs from linear structure. In this score, musical material is arranged along a spiral. The performer follows directional arrows. Each rotation of the spiral corresponds to a musical phrase or structural unit. Unlike traditional notation, time is not represented as a straight horizontal progression. Instead, it unfolds concentrically. The spiral is historically associated with cyclical time, cosmology, and recurrence. In this piece, the form visually reinforces the title's reference to macrocosmic or astral imagery. The page design is therefore not decorative. It encodes structural and conceptual meaning. The spiral layout affects physical performance. When reading circular notation, the performer's gaze rotates rather than scans horizontally. The torso and head subtly adjust orientation. Hand movement patterns may shift in response to visual grouping. As a result, the score influences not only temporal perception, but also bodily movement. From the audience's perspective, this introduces a visible spatial dimension to performance. The performer appears to revolve around a center, mirroring the score's geometry. This piece belongs to Crumb's Makrokosmos cycle for amplified piano. In this cycle, performers use extended techniques, including plucking or muting strings directly, producing harmonics, using objects such as glass to modify resonance, vocalizing while playing. These techniques expand the timbral range of the piano. The circular notation parallels this expansion of sonic space. Visual structure and sound design operate cohesively. The circular format also invites symbolic interpretation. Carl Jung described the mandala as a structure representing psychological integration. It organizes experience around a central point. In the several of Crumb's circular scores, the center is often associated with sustained tones or lower registers. Musical activity increases toward the outer regions. This configuration resembles a psychological model: center, interior self, periphery, expanding experiential field. If the piece is understood metaphorically, the unfolding of sound resembles an outward projection of internal states. The performance becomes a structured process of externalization. Music functions as a temporal diagram of consciousness. This type of score can be approached in several ways. It can be analyzed structurally as an alternative temporal system. It can be observed visually as geometric design. It can be interpreted symbolically as cosmological or psychological metaphor. Crumb's work integrates these dimensions without abandoning precision. Graphic notation here does not replace structure, it reframes it. Traditional notation represents time as a line. Crumb represents time as rotation around a center. The difference is not merely visual, it reshapes perception, performance, and interpretation. This is the distinctive contribution of his graphic notation.